Hey game designers, in this video, we're going to go over how to make rocks. For those of you who still have Maya and have access to um, Maya at home, you guys can follow my old tutorial on how to make shattered rocks. But those of you who don't have access to Maya, I'm going to teach you how to do it in Vectary. Okay, so these are kind of the rocks that I just want to show you what we're going to try to make ultimately when we're done. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is, again, we're making rocks for Module 5. So let's go ahead and I'm going to delete all these. And let's go ahead and start making a project for Module 5. So you can come up here and rename it. We're going to name it Module 5. And we're going to try to make a scene in Vectary for our Module 5 project. Okay. Okay. So again, using Vectary, free account, we can only make 3 projects. But the great part is our project can include all of our objects. So we're probably going to model rocks in here. We're going to model, a statute. We're going to model a whole bunch of things all in here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So like we did in Maya, we're going to start with a sphere. And the sphere, you can increase the number of subdivisions, height, radius. Right now, it looks like it has a radius of 50, it has 100 pieces already in here, 100 faces. I think that's plenty. Okay, so we can go in here and convert the geometry and start bending it and molding it however you like. Again, if you click on the second one, you can kind of, mold it a little bit the way that you like, kind of flatten it out, something like that. Okay. And here's the cool tool right here. So under object mode, so we haven't converted to geometry yet. So we don't have access to the faces and the vertices quite yet. But before we do that, this actually applies some of the deform tools. So we could bend it, okay? And this is a bend tool. And it allows you to bend it kind of like similar to scale, but it actually gives you the ability to bend it much more than that. But we're not going to use bend. Um, But what we really want to use is, all these tools. Out of all these tools, we're going to use noise. So instead of sitting there and making what we call random, sculpting pulls and pushes, we can have a tool do it for us. So we're going to click on noise here, and it automatically starts creating noises already for us. So it kind of randomizes all the faces and ruins geometry. So here are some of the ways you could increase or decrease noise. So you can left click here and kind of change the numbers. And you can see how it kind of warps this thing. So maybe you don't want too much in an amount. So we can just go like, I don't know, 30 noises or something. Maybe we'll decrease that later. Kind of look at what we got going on right now. We can decrease and increase the scale of the noise. So here's kind of like the noise being higher, lower. So I'm just going to leave it, I don't know, whatever, whatever just looks right. And this is kind of, again, up to you. There's no right or wrong number here. Levels. So let's go ahead and increase the level and see what that does. So the higher the level, the real radical the noises are. So the default was 1. So let's try to increase it just a little bit here. Let's go to 2, 3. Looks like I like, maybe 2, maybe 1. I think 1 is already kind of, kind of perfect. I don't really like to, I like the way it looks right now. Okay. And the curvature. So how curvy you want your noise. So the more curved it looks, the more it looks like the original thing that we had. So obviously we don't want our curve to be very high. We want it to be lower. But if you go to like 0, for example, it totally turns everything not curved enough. So here the default is 1. Maybe if you just wanted a little bit more noise, maybe we can do something like zero point 0.5 and you can get a little bit more noise, maybe 0.75. Again, there's no right or wrong numbers. It's just kind of how your eye looks and how you feel about this. So for me, I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this rock kind of on a different axis. Oops, I accidentally duplicated. Uh, Rotate this thing on its different axes, kind of put it on its here, and I'm just going to scale it down. So that's kind of like my first rock. Okay. So let's go ahead and make another rock. Let's go ahead and make a rock using a box. So some rocks are a little bit more boxy. So here's a box. Um, and let's go ahead and increase the number of segments because right now it has only two segments, meaning two this way and two this way. Let's go ahead and increase that to, let's go 10 segments. Okay. So it has like, maybe that's too many. Let's go like, you can see here it has too many faces. That's 100 on each side. That's 600. That's maybe too many. Let's go down to 5 or so. And I think that now has, yeah, 150 faces or something. Okay, so we're going to use the same thing. We're going to go ahead and use a noise and see how we like it. Okay, so a noise, obviously this rock still looks way too squarish. So let's go ahead and increase the amount of noise. So yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking some good looking rock here. Let's go ahead and see what scale does. Oops, again, 30 minutes, and they want you to buy the premium. So looks like if I increase the scale of the noise, yeah, I get a little bit more realistic looking, um, jagged edges here. Let's go ahead and increase the level real quick. And if I get to too many, it looks like modern art, doesn't like anything at all. So I think I'm pretty much going to stay at the default of 1. So 1 looks good. I don't think I need to change too much of that. And curves, if I get, again, too curvy, it starts to look like it's nothing at all. If I go back to 1, it starts looking like what we intended. So if you click on this, it kind of allows you to do free numbers. If you go here, you can control by whole integer numbers. So there's 1, there's 2. I actually just like it at 1. Maybe you can try something smaller than 1. That's like 75% or something. Okay. And yeah, and that starts to look good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this using the rotate tool here and kind of rotate it on the side that I like the most. Let's see, which side do I like the most? I like the top side a little bit more. So let's go ahead and rotate it this way. Ah. Now, if you don't really like the way this rotate gizmo is working, you can click on this right here. Right now, the gizmo is local. You can click on global, and it allows you to it'll just keep staying kind of like a XYZ coordinate. So you don't have to like switch back and forth. And I don't kind of like that one face. That face looks too not jagged enough. So maybe I'll go like that. Maybe I'll increase the amount of noise. Or maybe the scale of the noise. Because there's that one face I don't really like right there. Make it look a little bit more natural there. Because even if there's a pointy edge that just happens to be created, uh, I don't want it. Oops, I'm zooming. Uh, Change the noise. Okay, something like that. Oh, too much noise. Let's decrease that down. Actually, I think I don't like too much noise, just enough noise. Something like that. Okay. And let's see if there's any other tools that we could use to go ahead and create even more uh, randomness to this. Um, I think I liked it almost like a smaller number. Let's try zero point 0.5. And now it's gonna look like a too much curve. Let's go back to 1. Okay. But anyway, it's no right or wrong way. Just go ahead and, um, play with the numbers a little bit till you feel like you got what you're looking for. I think a good somewhere in the 60s looks about right. Okay. Maybe scale. Maybe I just want to increase my box. Maybe I'll go back to my box and increase the number of segments and see if that helps it. look a little bit better when I make the noise. Ah, there we go. That's actually I kind of like this. So if I increase the scale or decrease the scale, I can start to make really molten looking rock. So it's almost like molten rock, some rock that was built in a little bit more jagged and looks something like that, like crystallized volcanic rock or something. Okay, I think I like that the best. So I'm going to scale it down. Let's see what scale I'm at. Okay, and I'm just going to move my rock over here a little bit here. And let's go ahead and make another sphere real quick, just to see what we can do here. And let's go ahead and make another sphere. And let's just try something different. Let's try to, you know, bend our. Do I want to bend? I don't want to bend. Let's go ahead and just twist our sphere a little bit. So this is our twist of the sphere. We can change the angle of the twist. Okay, we can change the direction of the twist. So we'll just leave it at Z. And you can see that we kind of start out with a more curved ball anyway. So let's go ahead and kind of, oops, I don't want to do that that way. I want to do it on one axis, kind of shrink it over here, make it a little more elongated one direction here, something like that. And let's go ahead and skew it one way. So we can kind of increase the skew, kind of make it look like that, something like that. I'm going to use the rotate tool, kind of rotate it down. And again, this is just kind of all kind of just playing around, trying to figure out what you like. And now let's go add some noise. And now we can play around with the noise. And let's see if we like a bigger number here to kind of make it random. Change the scale of the noise. So it looks like I think originally the default was 100. We make it less or more. Okay, we'll stick around there and see if the levels really changes the way it looks. So on levels, um, it was originally at 1, making it at 3 gets it a little bit more of that. Let's kind of increase the curve. Curve makes it more smoothing, so it smooths it out a little bit. But if you smooth too much, it'll go back to its original shape. So I like something like that. Looks kind of good. Looks like a rock that I'm gonna go back to global here and just rotate it around, move it up. Okay, and that's going to be it for this video. What I want to actually teach you before we and scale it down, before we go on, I just want to teach you how you can kind of change the pivot. So right here under transformation, you can put the gizmo on the top, the bottom, or the center. So I'm going to put the gizmo to the bottom, and I can move it using global, move it down to the z-axis. So I'm going to change this and double click on it and change it to 0, and it should move the gizmo to the bottom. Let me switch it to, I guess the top is the top and the bottom is the bottom. Let's make that 0, and I can get it to where I want it. Here, same thing, I'm going to kind of move it to the bottom. So basically the pivot's on the bottom. I'm going to make it at the 0 level, so it's like ground level here. And grab this last rock right here. Again, go to global, move it to the bottom of it. This one's not the bottom of it, or is it? I can't tell. That doesn't like the bottom. Let's go to center, top. Okay, and let's go ahead and make this 0. Looks like top is up and up its bottom. We can move the pivot ourselves. So I got it moved now to here. So let's go ahead and rotate this baby over here. Something like that. Okay. Anyway, so here's our 3 rocks, and that will do it for today's video. Tomorrow, hopefully, I will teach you how to start arranging them and duplicating them and arranging them in ways where we could use it for are seen, like a campfire or a rock trail, something like that. Okay. All right. See you guys.